this week because this boss of mine has me running around a lot of places helping him, but I want to tell you something, best job I ever had, and not just because he's sitting right here, best boss I ever had. It's a good man right here to work for, the Chief of the Cherokee Nation, Bill John Baker. Well, I want to do a couple of introductions before I share a few words with you, but it is good to be here. I'm always impressed with the crowd. It seems to grow every year, and I see familiar faces and then I see new faces, and that is a sign of strength in this area for the Cherokees who want to get organized. You know, you don't do much in public service without your family, and I've been in public service to the Cherokee people for about 10 years now. I used to serve on the council, been Secretary of State since 2013, but you can't get it done without your family. I'm so glad that my wife is here today. Ladies and gentlemen, January, say hi to everybody. I've got a daughter and a gaggle of her friends around here somewhere, but she'll be around later, I'm sure. I also want to recognize, and fortunately we have a lot of citizens back home who are able to contribute by serving on boards and commissions. Because we have a big government. We're a government that's committed not only to being an effective government, but to being a transparent government, and to being a government that gets input from its citizens and gets input from people who have knowledge in their area of expertise that we need. So we have a gentleman from Adair, Oklahoma. Does anybody know where Adair, Oklahoma is? I know where it is. It's close to my home of Veneta, but Adair, Oklahoma. So make welcome, and Darren, if you'll please stand. Darren DeLozier. Say hi to Darren. Now, Darren serves on our Economic Development Trust Authority Board. He's also a children's author, and here's the even better news about him being a children's author is he takes the proceeds from his book and he helps children. And if a Cherokee is helping children, well, that's a good Cherokee in my book. Darren's a good man, and we're glad that he is here with us. Well, folks, you heard from our chief about the strength of our Cherokee Nation, that the state of our nation is strong, and I'm telling you, he's right, and I see it firsthand, and I see it up close. I see it all over the 14 counties where I have the privilege of traveling around to the community groups there and to the communities, and I have the pleasure of traveling across the country where we have Cherokees that are organized like they are here in Dallas. And I want to tell you something we're very proud of. Chief mentioned it earlier. We're very proud that we are a tribe, the largest Indian nation in the country, that is 360,000 citizens and growing every day. Look at that line over there. We're growing every day. That's a sign of strength. But I want to tell you something. It's really just a number. Because at the end of the day, are we still a nation that stays together? Are we a nation that is committed to preserving our culture, to teaching history to our kids, to preserving our language? Are we still a nation where we have those things in common? And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, no matter where I go in the Cherokee Nation, whether it's back home where I live in Veneta, or in Tahlequah where I work, or it's here in Texas, here in Dallas, or it's when we go out to California where we'll be in a month or so, or Kansas City, or out in Phoenix, or out in New Mexico. We were in Florida last month. Ladies and gentlemen, everywhere I go in the United States and find Cherokees, I know that the Cherokee Nation isn't just the largest Indian nation in the United States. Friends, we are the strongest, and we're getting stronger every day because of the numbers out there. Because people are joining together like they're doing here in Dallas. Like I say, this organization seems to grow all the time. Now, one thing I want to ask of the folks here, if you're not a member of this organization, please get involved. And I ask folks, no matter where we go, if they're coming for the annual event, that's good. If they're coming to get their photo ID for their kids, that's good. But please stay involved in your local organization. It's important, and it's important for a lot of reasons. It's important because we need to keep this large nation of ours together and alive. We need to keep teaching kids our language, and if you go around to some of these tables, you can see kids drawing in the Sequoia coloring books, and they're learning their language and they're learning about their history. You can see it all around, but we've got to stay organized to get together, and you can help here in Texas. You can help keep your nation alive here in Texas. Part of the legacy that you leave as a Cherokee is that you help keep the Cherokee strong in Dallas. You can do it by getting involved in this organization. I want to tell you another reason that it's important. Chief talked about a lot of the progress that we have made in recent years, and I've seen it in just the last decade, particularly in the last 6 years, how we've grown by leaps and bounds, both in terms of our economic development, in terms of improving housing, opportunities for jobs, and healthcare, probably most prominently with our new clinics and the Hastings Health Center. Friends, we don't do that by accident. We do that because of hard work. We do that because sometimes we have to go to the Congress of the United States and we have to get our share of the resources. We have to go to the executive agencies and we have to tell them that we're doing great things in Cherokee country and we need their help to do so much more. Now, folks in this room know what a lot of folks in this country don't know, which is that the dollars that come from Washington, D.C. are not handouts. There's not a Cherokee who's ever gotten a free health care in their life. There's not a Cherokee who's ever gotten a free scholarship in their life. There's not a Cherokee I know who's ever gotten a free home. And the reason is because my ancestors and your ancestors paid dearly for what we are getting today and what we're entitled to today. Those treaties mean something. That's why the chief said that we ought to hold the federal government accountable. So we have to go to Washington, D.C. and we have to say, we need money for health care. We want to have the largest tribal health center in the United States in Tahlequah. We need their help. Friends, I can tell you, when you go to Washington, D.C., and you can say that we're the largest tribe in the United States, and we can say to every member of the United States Senate, sir or ma'am, you have a Cherokee, you have Cherokees in your state. We can go to most members of the United States House of Representatives and tell them how many Cherokees that they have in their district. And we can go to the entire delegation of the state of Texas, members of Congress, and say you've got 25,000 Cherokees in your state and they care about health care back home. They care about their nation. They care about making sure the federal government's held accountable. My friends, it gets a lot easier to score the wins that we score in Washington, D.C. when they know that we have the backing of not just 365,000 people who happen to have blue cards. We've got the backing of 365 Cherokees who are proud to be Cherokee, who are engaged in their community, and who want to stand up for their nation and stand with our chief and stand with our council and get things done for our people. That's what this is about. And the same is true when we are back home, when we go to the state capitol. A decade ago, it was hard to get wins in the state capitol when we're dealing with the state of Oklahoma. A generation ago, it would be hard to get in the door in the state capitol. During my grandfather's time, a full-blood Cherokee from Veneta, they wouldn't have given him the time of day in the state capitol. But I can tell you, when I walk into the state capitol with this man, and I walk into the state capitol knowing that we're the largest tribe in Oklahoma, and more important than that, we have the biggest economic impact of any entity in Oklahoma. I know that we have newfound attention and respect from people in Oklahoma City, so we're getting more wins when we go to Oklahoma City. It's because we're organized, it's because our citizens are with us. They're with us when we go to the state capitol. We're with us when we go to the Congress. Now, there's ways that you can stay in touch, not only here locally, but you can stay in touch with us on social media and on the internet. Donnie, you have a card here that may be being passed out. Stay in touch with us at CherokeesAtLarge.org. Go to that website. You can find all sorts of information about opportunities available for at-large Cherokees. Now, we need to use our numbers. We need to use our strength to get those wins that I talk about. And you never know when the challenges are going to come up. You know, there was a generation or two ago that Indian children were taken from their homes, and it took the Congress passing the Indian Child Welfare Act to stop that, so that our brothers and sisters were not taken from their homes and taken away from Cherokee Nation, and the same is true all over Indian country. But you know, that law is fragile. That law is often under attack. but Cherokees know that that law is important, and so we may call on you at some point to stand up and talk to your member of Congress and say you care about Cherokee kids and you care about the Indian Child Welfare Act. Chief mentioned the 47 Act. We hope to get that legislation passed. You can tell your congressman that it's gone on far too long that we've lost land in Cherokee country, and that you stand with Chief Baker to make sure that those losses stop. There's ways that we can use our strength, my friends, to get even more done for Cherokee Nation. And that's part of my job, is to connect with the other governments, engage with the other governments, and it's a whole lot easier to do my job when I know that our people are organized. Well, folks, I want to tell you that it's a great pleasure to serve each and every one of you. When you're in public service, when you're in an appointed position, you don't know how long your shelf life is. I used to serve on the council. I was appointed by the chief. So you don't know how long you're going to get to serve the Cherokee people. But I tell you what, I treasure every single day that I get to serve them. I hope I get to serve you many more. But I want to tell you more than anything, I'm thankful for the days that I've gotten to serve you, and I've gotten to be here in Dallas, Texas, to visit with you and to build a relationship with you. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my family. I also want to tell you that I appreciate serving with your at-large council members, and you're going to hear from them in a bit. Councilor Shaw and I were here earlier this week, and we went to Baylor Medical Center to learn about some cutting-edge medical technologies. Councilor Hatfield and I travel around and talk about the issues. I'll be in Oklahoma City, where she lives, here in about a month to visit with some Cherokee kids. You've got two council members who care about the at-large community. Your at-large council members, get to know them if you don't already. I can tell you it's my great pleasure to serve with them and to work with them. Friends, if I can do anything to help you in the service of our chief, in the service of the Cherokee Nation, I want to do it. I want you to visit with me if there's anything I can do for you. But I want to tell you, I'm proud to be Cherokee. I'm proud to work for this chief. I'm proud that we're the largest tribe in the United States. But when I go around the 14 counties and I see what's going on in healthcare, and I see the homes being built, I see the young people going to college and coming out of college and going to work for the Cherokee Nation, when I see the scholarships that we're providing, when I see the opportunity that we have, when I see the hope all across the 14 counties, I know that it's not just that we're the largest tribe in the United States. Friends, I've seen it. We're the strongest tribe in the United States. We're getting stronger every day. It's my pleasure to serve you. What else?